Marianah Lourens, Kuns in Vermaak. Yes, Marianah Lourens with art and entertainment. And we are here in the green room, in the little theatre, inside the Athenaeum. And I am so excited because I've got one oldish friend. She's just reminded me how long ago it was we last saw each other. And it is Jennifer Lindridge. We haven't seen each other since we were in Ring Street at the Kenny Park Centre. Now that's some years ago.
That's a long time
when
ago.
We had a chat, yes. An amazing chat that was. So welcome today.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
And then I have Jocelyn Scholtz.
Hello, my Danny.
She's like my other daughter. So we'll start with you, Joss, because we go way back.
Yes.
I mean, Jocelyn and I, we've actually been around the block. We've been in shows together.
Yeah.
We've done stuff together. They even made a movie of one of our
one of our productions.
One of our productions, yes. But we're now struggling to get out of them.
We'll get it. Let's keep the faith.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, you started JS Productions,
I
Joss,
did.
because that's why we actually here. Because, look, you've been an actress.
Yes.
For many years. You studied at Stage World and you did a few plays for us. Essenstraat was the one in Afrikaans. Yeah, with Anna Poe.
Yes. And then it was Sarah Bartman, Return of the Moon.
Return of the Moon. There's been lots of other shows. You also a voiceover artist and an MC. And, of course, she's a colleague of mine as well. Because she's a presenter at BFM as well. But why we're here is because you are now wanting to expand your teaching.
Yes.
Tell us about it.
I don't know why it took me so long. It took me a while. Everybody always tells me, Josh, you should be doing this. And for some reason, it never resonated because all I wanted to do was be on stage. I wanted to act or I wanted to this. And working with phenomenal directors such as Uncle Robert makes you want to just be on stage. And then it just hit me, hey, why don't I go around and offer drama classes? But then it grew from just acting classes to a whole theatre experience. I started JS Productions. We're busy with the registration at the moment. It obviously takes time, but the plan is to predominantly, and I think you'll know why this is so important to me, I want to reach the kids in the northerns and the locations. I want them to understand that the arts is not some faraway thought. Because our kids don't have the exposure, they think it is something that is reserved for a certain kind of group, when in fact all they need is the access. And we have been playing around with, do we take this to schools? Do we get, what do we get involved? And I just want to start off just by people knowing that, hey, you can come and someone who's actually qualified and trained can train you. Because I think one of the things that really, really rubs me a certain way when I see individuals out there training people, but they don't know what they are training, in my opinion. I'm not saying that they don't know what they are doing, but I feel like you cannot just train someone to act. You cannot just train someone how to perform on screen. In fact, people don't know that there's different types of acting. There's a difference between stage and screenplay.
Absolutely.
There's a huge difference. People don't know the importance of lighting and sound when it comes to stage. And I feel like working in the industry and teaching disabled youth, I feel like our kids are so restricted because some of them want to do lights and some of them want to do design and some of them want to get into the backstage, but because of a lack of exposure, they are stuck within the school system, the mainstream school system, where they fail and there's no outlet for what they really can do. Because to be honest, not all of them are strong academically. Not all of us. I mean, me, for instance, if the moment you show me a visual picture of something, I understand it better. And that's the same thing that's happening with our kids today.
Many kids.
Many kids. They sit in school and they either go and work because they have to, or if they have the opportunity and they're fortunate enough to study, they take anything that comes about, not knowing that you can go into light sound, you can study film, you can actually go and do screenplay, you can do acting, you can be voice trained. There is music for you to sit in a class and you can actually learn that. And I think looking at the bigger entities is a little bit intimidating because the first thing they think is money, when in fact this is not what we...
And that, of course, comes from the parents saying you've got to get a real job.
Yes.
That you can't go into the performing arts or the creative arts. You can't just be a designer or a sculptor or a painter. Or, you've got to go and get a real job.
Yes.
And that's where it comes from. But in fact, as you say, they don't know about the technical
They don't know.
training.
And I think it's so important for me, especially coming from a colored household and being a person of color. I never knew about theater until Stage World. I never knew about radio. I mean, I knew that there's something like radio, but who would have told my 18-year-old self I would be on radio today? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And for me, it's such a passion. And I don't want it to be a plaything because I feel like because it's the arts, it is easy to throw it out of the door and just treat it as a by the way sort of discipline. When in fact, all they see is the end results. They don't see the 8 months that Uncle Robert is writing that script. They don't see the 8 months we get home after 12 because of rehearsal. They don't see how our feet hurt of the tap dancing, the costumes and the lights and how we have to transform into characterization. And I think that for me is extremely important. And I also I'm not saying I want to change the world. If I can, I would love to. But I also want to break the stigma of acting is easy.
The thing is, it isn't that easy. And I always tell the young people, there are little things that sometimes even directors don't think of, or teachers. I spent a year in America acting. And we visited churches and schools and prisons and wherever they would have us, old age homes, wherever. And there are little things that you do. Like if you go into a prison, you can take nothing with you. Our little suitcase with our props that we carried around, we couldn't take in with us.
Oh, wow.
So all they had in that prison piece where we were allowed to perform was a plastic cup. We had a plastic cup.
Wow.
And we had to do our little play. But in any case, it can be done. You improvise.
Yeah.
And sometimes you have to ad-lib. And we know very much about that.
But I mean, even that in itself is a form of art. The ad-libbing, the improv.
Yes. And you have to be prepared for unexpected things that happen on stage. Lighting goes wrong. Anything can go wrong. Now, let me get to you, Jen, because when I interviewed you last, it was because you were a graphic designer.
Correct.
Then I've been kind of seeing your posts and so, and then for a while I've been really, really interested because I saw when you wrote the books, the children's books, and the Fuzz-Fuzz, and I got so intrigued, and then I saw there were translations done and everything. Because on your profile, I mean, you're an author, a thinker, an animal lover. Just so, by the way, she's got 9 dogs.
You do?
I do. When we were at our biggest capacity, we had 11 at once.
My word.
So you know then. We'll talk another time about the dogs. But she's a tea drinker.
We've got that in common.
But the nice thing I saw there was travel agent for the imagination, because she writes these children's books and I have not had the privilege to even read one, and I would really like permission to read one on radio.
There you go. Here's a copy for you.
Yes. Also, they've been translated. So tell us about Fuzz-Fuzz.
The Fuzz-Fuzz. Okay, so there are currently 2 books in print, and the one has been translated into isiXhosa and isiZulu, which I'm really excited about. They were published by Lapa Penguin, and to have the Fuzz-Fuzz do well enough in our very small local South African market for them to see the potential and want to translate it into 2 of our official languages is a big deal. And there are so few books on the market for Xhosa and Zulu speaking children. So it's fun that these stories are becoming accessible in their native tongue, because how I understand it, how they've been translated up to now, is that a mother will take the book and then read it line by line and translate as she goes. And that, when you've got a book like the Fuzz-Fuzz, is hard because all of the words are nonsensical. They're words that are taken out of context, phrases, very alliterative. So I take my hat off to the translators who did these. They've really, I obviously don't understand them because I don't speak Xhosa or Zulu, but the kids are loving them.
Yes, because the thing is, what you say in a language does not make sense if you verbatim translate it.
No.
A sentence.
Exactly.
You know, because I've translated into Afrikaans, or I've translated Afrikaans into English. And I know you have
can't
to sometimes
go verbatim.
you have to just swap around the phrase a bit for it to make the proper sense, for the message, the correct message that the author meant to come through. So it's not easy to translate. So that's absolutely amazing.
Yeah, no, it is very exciting. So the Fuzz-Fuzz is very alliterative, rhyming words, It's imaginative copy coupled with imaginative illustrations, beautifully done by Tori Stowe, who's a Bathurst artist.
Oh,
you know Tori?
My grandchildren grew up in Bathurst. Okay. So we used to go to Bathurst so often, and Tori Stowe's art is just everywhere in Bathurst.
It's beautiful.
I always adored her cats.
She's got a very whimsical style, and we just meshed immediately. She understood my brief, and there were literally no changes. She came to the table and there it was. So yeah, we've done very well together. And then my second book is 11 Dogs Live With Me, and that is a true tale about my dogs, 1 through 11, and their various sleeping, feeding, eating, playing rituals. Bathing, etc., and the hard work that goes along with it, but the love that comes with dogs.
With dogs,
animals.
Yes.
Yeah.
And for you to turn it into the art of a story and putting it in a book for people to read, because I was speaking to another group of people, how therapeutic the arts are. And if you experience whatever you experience and you put it down into an artwork, be it music, dance, be it acting in a play, a production, or if it's children's books for kids.
It's just...
And our kids need stories.
So badly.
My generation, I am 77 years old. We grew up on stories. There were no TVs. There was nothing else. There were only stories. And now and again, I can remember my mom taking us to a big show of Hansel and Gretel or something like that in the City Hall in Pretoria.
Oh, wow.
It's nothing like it is now with social media. Every child's got a cell phone.
It's actually really sad, and there is a vast need for promoting reading and a love of literacy, creating literacy. And the only way, and I know it sounds very simple, but one of the ways we are going to fix South Africa is through education, and pairing with that is literacy and reading. And so something as small as the Fuzz-Fuzz translated into Xhosa and Zulu holds a very important place in these children's lives. If they can develop a love of reading, a love of words, the future will look so different for this country.
But the actual reading of a hard copy.
Absolutely.
Yes,
well, that
not on
too.
social media, yeah.
But I mean, not only education-wise, the research and evidence that goes along with the importance of reading a book to your child, but emotionally, the developmental steps. And they say, I may not have these stats exactly right, but something like if you start reading to your child before they can even speak, you start reading them basic books, engaging one-on-one time, 10 minutes a day. That is all. By the time your child is a school-going age, they will know 1 million more words than a child who is not read to. It's phenomenal.
And that's why they'll be able to read.
Correct.
By the end of grade 2.
Yeah.
Now they can't read when they go to high school.
Yeah. And it's as simple as 10 minutes a day. And there's also a huge correlation between reading and financial success later in life. You know, achievement. There is a link that is undeniable. I mean, just 10 minutes every day.
Every day. But now, Jen, we heard how Jocelyn never dreamt of being on radio and she only found out about acting when you went to Stage World.
Yeah, I always knew that's what I wanted to do as a child. I told this story backstage when we were doing Whispering Cry. I said that I always knew that that's what I wanted to do. So as a child, I thought I could take the knife, cut the TV open, and I'd be there with them. Because I thought it was so real. And that memory will stay in my mind forever, because that's the moment that it went off, that this is what I want to do. So at school, when, you know, all these colleges would come about and they would do your nursings and, you know, you would have your traffic officers. I would not be interested because this is what this is always what I've wanted to do.
Wow.
So I just wanted to touch on what you also said with the research that goes into them not just reading, but the understanding and then learning about the research and all of that. For instance, like with a script, I can talk about myself when I played Sarah Bartman in The Return of the Moon. I couldn't just play her. I had to research her, which forced me to read, which forced me to write, which forced me to understand character analysis. And then I had to read my script. It doesn't matter if it's a script or not, I still read.
Yeah, because you have to research your character.
That's what I'm saying. You have to research your character.
And you have to, Jen, research what you're writing about.
Yeah.
Otherwise you
somehow. To be fair,
no, but yours is, of course, first-hand experience. The whole thing is with your 11 Dogs one, I can imagine. But where did it begin for you? That was actually my question. Where did writing begin for you?
I've always enjoyed writing. And had I known when I went to university in 1991 that there was a degree in copywriting, I probably would have gone that direction. But as it was, I knew what a graphic designer was and entailed, and I opted for that. But I think my primary ability is with words. I think in words. I don't think in visuals as many graphic designers do. My words and my copy always come first and the visuals follow. So yeah, I just think...
So you and Joss will complement one another.
Exactly. Do you know the production happening in my head as she's speaking? I'm like, yes, let's do it.
Why don't you put on a play of the Fuzz-Fuzz? I mean, that would be amazing.
Let's do it.
Yeah, especially
it actually would.
We have a director right here.
Yeah.
So we sorted. You see, we sorted,
and
man.
we have a script writer here as well. But now listen, he told me about 10 minutes ago we've got 5 minutes left. So we have to wind up.
I forgot we were on radio. I just...
It's such a fun chat.
We're having such an amazing chat. But now, Jossie, to get hold of you, how do they find you? I find you all Instagram, Jocelyn, something, Joss Scholtz.
So I'm Jocelyn Joss Scholtz on all my social media platforms. Sometimes people get a bit confused with the spelling of my name. So it's easier just to search Bay FM and then you'll get me on the page somewhere. Or I would appreciate even a WhatsApp on the number 061 405 4193.
Say that again.
061 405 4193.
That is 061 405 4193.
There we go.
And that's Joss Scholtz, Jocelyn Scholtz.
Yes.
Whatever you type in, it'll come up. And of course, that is for your art. And you've actually gone up to what age now?
I've been asked to extend it to teach young 10 to 16 years, and then I've been asked to do young adults. So around 18, 20 should be. Yes. But I mean, at this point, if someone wants to come in for a private class at whatever age.
And by 77, they can come.
You know what I mean? Uncle Robert says me. Any age at this point. Any age.
And your books, Jane?
My books are available nationwide from Exclusive Books, any reputable book dealer, locally from Fogarty's, My Magic Words, Bargain Books, Take a Lot, pretty much everywhere. And if they don't have it, just request they order you a copy. They should have on the shelves though.
Jennifer Lindridge, that's how you find her. She's on Facebook and there you see all about her Fuzz-Fuzz and all her efforts. But it's everywhere.
It should be.
It shouldn't be a problem.
It should be.
And if you can't find her, contact me because I'll find her for you.
Yes!
But thank you so much. Our time is really up now.
Thank you for having us.
I'm so looking forward to reading Fuzz-Fuzz and his bedtime stories.
Well,
some of them.
I mean, they could be bedtime stories, but I believe in stories anytime.
Anytime stories, yeah. So thank you so much
for having
coming.
Me.
And thank you, Jossie.
Thank you, Tannie Marianah.
And ons praat weer. We'll talk again and watch this space because whatever comes next, you let me know and we'll chat about it.
Sounds good.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And now it's time for me, Marianah Lourens, and Art and Entertainment to say goodbye. Ja, Marianah Lourens en Kuns en Vermaak wat nou groet met Arrivari.